Hello, dear friends. Patrick here. How you doing? Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. We're going to have some motivation for you today. I hope that's going to be good news for everybody watching. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Today is a beautiful Tuesday. It's a little cloudy and rainy, but it's still a beautiful day. I want to show you the t-shirt I'm wearing just for this video. Ready? Here we go. Maybe I'll use that as a screen capture. I use it as a thumbnail. I got it from the Velocity. What do they call those things? Incubator, high-tech places in Waterloo, where a bunch of eggheads study how to make a bunch of money with new technology, something like that. Anyway, years of hustle. Sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it doesn't take years of hustle, but sometimes it does. So what I'd like to do, maybe I'll make it like a 3-part series again. This one's going to be about some ideas that I would use, or I have used, if I was young again. Because right now, at the stage in my life, I really don't have the motivation as I did when I was younger. First of all, I'd like to lay a little bit of groundwork by sharing maybe a couple anecdotes and some foundational principles. The first one is that salary really doesn't matter. I heard a story, I believe it was from Joe Vitale, of a surgeon in the U.S. It's apparently a true story, but again, it's anecdotal. Maybe it's an urban legend, but I believe I got the story from Joe Vitale, but I'm not 100% sure. He was a surgeon in the U.S., and the guy was making like $500,000 a year. He studied to be a surgeon for like a ridiculous amount of time, like 10 years plus of education and schooling and postgraduate and internship and on and on and on and on and on. So what ended up happening in his career, after a short period of time of working, making this huge salary with lots of money, the big house, the big car, debt, he faced a malpractice lawsuit. He accidentally killed a guy on the operating table. I don't know what happened, if there was any negligence involved, but obviously there was to some degree, because he ended up getting sued up the wazoo and ended up losing his surgeon's certification, whatever it was. Now, I don't know if he couldn't be a doctor anymore. He probably could still be a doctor, but something happened dramatically that he faced this horrible failure in his career. He ended up going bankrupt. So in other words, he lost the big house, he lost the big money, he lost everything, even though he had this huge salary. Pardon me, just having a bit of java in the morning to try and wake up. I apologize if this is distracting, but sometimes it helps to clear up my dry throat speaking. Sorry about that. So anyway, that's one thing. So salary doesn't necessarily matter. The second thing is that sometimes there's barriers that are multi-generational. Maybe I'll talk about that a little later, that need to be broken. And there's various barriers, but the second thing I wanted to talk about really was the idea of $1 million business. Because if you had $1 million in cash and you put it in a bank account, how much would that earn in interest? This is the lowest level, just doing nothing with it. My dad used to say, Patty, the easiest way to double your money is fold it in half and put it in your pocket. Not bad advice, actually. Anyway, if you had $1 million in cash, Canadian banks currently pay about 1.9% interest. Let's say you can round it off, 2% interest. So you make, what is that, 20 grand a year? What does that work out per month? $1,500, $1,600 a month, something like that. So if you had a business that paid you $1,500 or $1,600 a month, technically that business to you is like having $1 million in the bank. That's the mindset I'm moving towards. Creating something that pays you consistent cash flow, even if you're sick, even if you don't show up to work. It's money in your sleep, called residual income, right? Passive income, right? Obviously, that's a common term, passive income, right? Passive because you don't have to do anything. It just evergreen. It keeps producing income for you month after month, week after week. And that, I think, is a good target to have in today's economic environment, right? Why not? If it's possible, why not? Why doesn't everybody do it? Because they don't see the opportunity, right? or they don't see it and they don't have the faith to do it for themselves. That's another barrier. Sometimes you have that. Um, I knew a guy, and this is the mindset that you have to guard yourself from, is the idea of either you get trapped, right? I've seen people get trapped. I know somebody who I care about dearly, and they have this kind of mini occupation, if you want to call it that. They carve things, right? They make little odds and ends that they make with their hands, and they're proud of them, and they is a pretty good carver, in fact. But you can hear in his voice, he says, "Oh, maybe I'll sell some of these carvings and make some money, but I probably won't." And that is the trap, right? They have this little germ of hope, but they quickly squash it themselves. But that little germ of hope kind of keeps them going, because it's comforting to have this possibility in the back of your mind. Norman Vincent Peale used to talk about possibility thinking. But that, I think, is common, but it just doesn't cut it, right? That person, it will never break out of that because they're comfortable in that. And that's something you have to guard yourself against, is reaching a point of kind of homeostasis, just where you're content to be impoverished on an ongoing basis. You compare that to Napoleon Hill, who said you have to build up a white hot burning of desire to accomplish your goals, and you have to have your goals written down and all that kind of stuff. Maybe on the other extreme, right? And anyway, maybe I'll talk more about those kind of things later. But think about it in that sense, that yes, if you had $1 million, you could invest it at higher return. You could get 5% return. You could make 60 grand a year on your money with a GIC or some type of guaranteed investment certificates, I suppose, with almost zero risk. And so you could make more than that. But for the sake of analogy, let's just think about it that way, right? If you have a business that makes you $1,000 a month net, that's a very, very valuable business for you, especially when you can't be dependent on a paycheck, because you're going to lose your job any day. So let's move on. The first business I'd like to talk to you about, I think, is the opportunity that currently exists on Twitter. The second one I'm going to talk about, I think it'll be self-publishing, because I have a lot of experience in that myself, and that's a business that I have, essentially. And the third one, I think I'll probably talk about crypto again, so that might be a little boring, might not be as interesting to some people. But I think the first two might jog your memory, might get you inspired, and if it does, great, and if it doesn't, well, you never know, someone might come along and I might help them down the road. So the first business opportunity, how am I doing for time? I'd like to make these as short as possible. It's hard to read. Okay, there we go, 8 minutes in. So Twitter, since it's been taken over by the astronaut man, they've implemented a wealth sharing program, or a revenue sharing program, so that you can participate in ad revenue that your channel, depending on the amount of impressions you get. And you can qualify that for getting, like, I don't know, 500,000 impressions in 3 months or something like that. I don't know the exact numbers because I didn't jump on board with that. But you can create a channel for free. It does cost you, though. You had to invest $8 a month, or somewhere around there, $8, $10 a month, to get the premium blue check, right? But I think if I were to do it over again, you could see those channels that are getting the views and impressions. Things like that use short video clips, crazy clips, you know, the ones, fail videos and all that kind of stuff. Now, I know it's already saturated and very hyper competitive. People steal each other's videos and memes and all that kind of stuff. In fact, on my channel, I say steal my memes, I don't care. And so what you can do, you should have a good video capture software. There's free versions. I used to use Camtasia way back in the day, but you don't need something like that. You can get free editing capture software, you should have a image capture software on your computer, notebook, or desktop. If you don't have what is it, Control Alt S? If you click that and you get a screen capture. If you don't have that on your computer, I don't know, you're handicapping yourself, I suppose, because that's handy for keeping track of stuff you want to remember in the future, whether it's a meme or your bills when you're doing your banking, all that kind of stuff. It's very handy to have. So if you have a video capture editing program, um, you also need Office, but you can also get Open Office for free, so you don't have to give Mr. Gates his $100 a year if you don't want to. I happen to do that. I have the Microsoft brand. I don't know why I do that, but I do. So you can grab little segments of video because YouTube has tons of video that allows people to in the conditions of those videos that they're made public, and people are allowed to take little segments of them. Whenever I upload a video, it asks you, right? Are you going to let people take a little sample of your video? And you say, yeah, sure, it doesn't matter, right? So you can take these little samples of video, and I think the opportunity, you say, Pat, well, that's people are already doing that. That's not a new opportunity. I know. Just bear with me for a second here. Is that you need the attention span is getting shorter and shorter. And a lot of these videos that these channels do, the people will look at one and look at the next and look at the next and look at the next. It's almost like turned into a form of Instagram. And they're getting huge numbers of views on their channels because they're following that simple formula. But to make those clips even shorter, what they can be cat videos, they can be videos of people fighting, they can be fail videos, win videos, cat videos, doesn't matter. But if you stay within a sweet spot of 5 or 10 seconds, I think that is a really untapped. There are a lot that are like that, I know, but in there's still plenty of room for somebody to get in there, get those impressions. I tested it. I took a clip of what's that one? There was a video going around, a meme on the internet, where these kids sort of take over his house and they auction off his house, and he comes back and they're like, oh yeah, we gave the house away or something. And the guy is just livid, right? You probably know the one I'm talking about. And I thought it was hilarious, right? And so I tested this theory out. Even though I'm not a blue check mark on Twitter, I just wanted to test it, see if it would work. I took a clip of when the guy, one of the kids comes up to him and says, hey, Daddy, chill. And it's a person that's in between. I got to be careful what I say because, YouTube. Don't forget, YouTube is not your friend. YouTube will eventually delete all my videos because anything that is even remotely right-leaning will eventually go away. That's the totalitarian directive that's coming down the pipe, right? And even Twitter, I mean, it's temporarily an open space, but it may not always be like that. But anyway, so yeah, I just took that short 5-second clip where the guy says, what the hell is even that? You know the one I mean, right? And then I added something else on the end of it. I just put in a little image of the new Canadian military logo that was going around the internet for a little while. And I said, this is Canadians' response when they see the new Canadian logo. And it's got the guy, just that little brief little clip. What the hell is even that? And that got thousands and thousands of impressions and views over a very short period of time. And that never happens because unless you're a blue check mark, pardon me, you don't get any exposure. Your account is essentially squelched. It's memory hold or shadow banned, whatever you want to call it, right? But that sort of was like a proof of concept. So there's an open opportunity. Get yourself a good free video capture and editing software. If you don't know of one, send me a DM and I'll send you the one I use, or tell you where you can get it, or I'll tell you the name of it, either or. That's vital. You got to have that. And then you simply grab those little tidbits. Even if you see one, people don't care. It's the Wild West. The people are posting videos, and another guy posts the same video, another guy posts the same video, and whoever's got the biggest channel usually ends up getting the bulk of the views. But you don't have to try and repost what everyone else is posting already. You can take just the core of that video. Just take the 5-second blurb. Trust me on it. Whether it's just the moment of impact of the car hitting the wall or whatever. You don't need all the preamble. People have lost patience of sitting through a 2-minute video. Imagine how many people are going to sit through a 20-minute video. It's a very rare thing, right? So that short, brief little video clip, it's going to gain impressions, it's going to gain traction. And then once you build up a certain amount of video impressions, you get to share in the monetization, and you get, 20, 30, 50 bucks a month. Can you expand on that? Oh, and I'll also link to a guy who's doing it, and he doesn't say much in his video. He rambles on for, I think it's a 15-minute video or something, but you may grab a little bit of information out of it, of somebody that is trying to build his Twitter channel that they call X now, and try and get more impressions and try and make money off it. And he shows you exactly how much money he's making off it. So it's a small thing, but it can definitely grow if you have the desire and you have the dedication and you have the time to put into it. Is it $1 million business idea? It is for somebody that's willing to commit themselves to it. Anyway, that's the first idea I thought I'd share with you. Nothing too dramatic, but it is an open opportunity because you can see that it's an open opportunity. They've only been doing the ad revenue share program for about a year now. The traction on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, is far outstripping Facebook. Facebook is dead. Facebook is losing engagement every day, and Twitter engagement is increasing every day. Twitter is the global water cooler of discussion, if you want to call it that. And so it's getting people that are, pretty much addicted to the platform. And so, you only need a tiny piece of a big pie to get some of that ad revenue. Are they going to change the policies of ad revenue down the road? Of course, and they'll make it more restrictive, and they'll probably reduce the amount they're paying out, and so on and so forth. But there is an open window of opportunity to carve yourself out a little niche if you're so inclined. Like I said, I don't have the motivation anymore, but if I was starting over, that'd be one channel that I would certainly have open, so that in case you do hit that viral video that gets a few million impressions, you get compensated for it. Maybe it makes you 50 or 100 bucks that month or whatever it is, right? So there you go. That's the first one. How are we doing for time? Oh, I'm out of time anyway. So next video, I'll talk about some self-publishing and how that could work for somebody. And after that, I'll probably talk again a little bit about digital currency. We'll see. Sorry, I'm kind of out of energy this morning. I haven't had my coffee yet, and I got to wake up. So God bless you. Thank you for watching. I hope you're doing well. We'll talk to you again real soon, okay? Take care of yourself. Bye-bye now.